Chapter 165. Space Rift at the End of the Earth. Yi Tian felt the shock of space for the first time, and as his spatial perception spread, he immediately discovered the abnormal change in the spatial crack. At first, he knew it wasn't good, and there was an emperor-level aura coming from the spatial crack. Swish! Yi Tian flew into the air, his divine sense covering thousands of miles, and he transmitted his voice to everyone. The emperor-level fierce beast is tearing the spatial crack. Everyone leave the top-level array. Among the castles, Yun Mengli was startled when he heard Yi Tian's transmission. Emperor-level beast. Other king levels may have little knowledge and don't know what the emperor level is, but he had been to the Zhonghai super base, so how could he not know what the emperor level is? Above the king level is the saint level, and above the saint level is the emperor level. An emperor-level fierce beast can kill him countless times with a single breath. Run! Yun Mengli threw away any pretense, any honor. The others couldn't care about it either, and hurriedly flew out of the top array. In addition to Yun Mengli, the two kings, the Blood King and the Blue King, also knew what an emperor-level fierce beast was, and they too ran out as soon as possible. And although the other kings didn't know what was going on, seeing that Yun Mengli, the Green King, and the Blood King had also fled, they naturally fled with them. In the blink of an eye, a group of king-level mages retreated outside the top-level array, and the group of array mages also ran out. Only one person remained in the top-level formation to observe the situation. Blood King, what is an emperor-level beast? A king-level asked the Blood King, puzzled. The Blood King took a deep breath and said, an existence that is countless times stronger than us. It can kill me with a single breath. You don't need to know too much, just know that an emperor-level blow can annihilate a big base. Hiss. Many kings gasped. Then, Yun Meng opened his mouth and said, the emperor level shouldn't be able to come out of a 3-star spatial crack. Besides, the current spatial crack has become a 1-star spatial crack, and the emperor level is even more difficult to come out. Well, it's a false alarm at most. Let's see, Qingwang said. Many kings were still very nervous, their eyes fixed on the spatial rift inside the top-level array, and if there was a slight change, they would flee as soon as possible. Inside the top array, Yi Tian stood 3,000 meters away from the spatial rift. He stared at the spatial rift, and clearly sensed the aura of the 3 emperor-level fierce beasts that were tearing through the spatial rift. Click! The spatial crack rapidly widened, and soon it reached the level of a 3-star spatial crack, and then quickly evolved into a 4-star spatial crack. From a distance, Yun Mengli, the Blue King, and the Blood King were truly taken aback. If it really turned into a 4-star spatial crack, then the saint-level fierce beasts could come over. How could they stop it? Array mages, hurry up and urge the big array. The kings shouted one after another. Suddenly, a famous array mage united and began to urge the big array. However, it was useless. Adults, it's useless. A terrifying force has affected the big array, and the big array can't suppress the spatial crack, a top array mage said helplessly. However, the feared thing did not happen. The spatial crack did not widen to the level of a 4-star spatial crack, it was only a little bit, and it should have reached the level of a 3-star peak spatial crack. But even so, many king-level people were also taken aback, because such a space crack could send a large number of king beasts, and even invincible king beasts could send in a bunch. That's when it happened. A voice came, Saint-level human, it's him. It's definitely him who killed my junior. That's when it happened. A hand poked out from the spatial rift, but when it broke through the spatial rift, it was affected by the spatial rift and the power of the 2 realms, and the big hand kept cracking. It was not a human hand, but the hand of a ferocious beast, a giant ape to be exact. Abruptly, a golden spear appeared in the big hand, and the golden spear should be a talent, a metal-type talent. Saint-level human, die. The golden spear was thrown fiercely at Yi Tian, and a spear broke through the air. The speed of this spear was too fast, even surpassing Yi Tian's reaction speed. You can't get stabbed. Yi Tian had the illusion that if he was pierced, the top healing talent would not be able to save him. The other party is definitely an extremely terrifying existence among the emperor-level fierce beasts, and now he has attacked him at the cost of being injured. There is only one reason why the other party can be so desperate at all costs, and let the 3 emperor-level fierce beasts help tear apart the spatial rift. the phantom beast he killed had an extraordinary origin, and he was discovered by killing the phantom beast and stabbed the hornet's nest. And the one who just said that he killed its descendant was another fierce beast, which should be the elder of the phantom beast, and also a phantom beast. This time, he caused at least 5 terrifying beasts to attack. In order to kill him, the other party will do whatever it takes. Teleport. Yi Tian did not hesitate to use the teleportation in the spatial talent. If the opponent's body comes in person, he may not have time to teleport, but the opponent is a one-handed shot across the boundary, and the speed is a little slower, which gives him a chance to teleport. In an instant, Yi Tian teleported away from the top-level array and came thousands of miles away. And the golden spear failed to hit Yi Tian, and directly hit the top formation behind. Boom! The top-level array was completely shattered, and all the formation mages vomited blood one after another. Several weaker formation mages even died because of the backlash. In an instant, the golden spear disappeared into the sky. Fortunately, the golden spear was not aimed at the earth, otherwise with the power of one blow, the earth would be shattered, and the annihilation force would sweep across the field, which was enough to make the kings of the land of thousands of miles fall and die. No! King Kong, the owner of the big hand, let out a cry of rage. It spent such a huge price and failed to kill Yi Tian. How could it not be angry? Puff puff, the spatial crack contracted, King Kong's big hand shattered, and a trace of emperor-level fierce beast blood flowed down. Soon, the big hand vanished, leaving only the angry sounds of King Kong and the phantom beast. Due to the disappearance of the top-level array, although the spatial rift shrank, it only shrank to the level of an ordinary 3-star spatial rift, not to the extent of a 1-star spatial rift. Swish! Yi Tian teleported back. It took Yun Mengli and the others a long time to recover from the shock and fear and flew in front of Yi Tian. Lord Yi Tian, was that an emperor-level fierce beast shot just now? Yun Meng asked. Yes, it's an emperor-level beast, and it's not an ordinary emperor-level beast. I didn't expect it to attack me from afar. Yi Tian was a little frightened, but he didn't have much fear. If that emperor-level beast came in person, he would be sure to save his life, not to mention that it was only one hand that came over. Lord Yi Tian, that emperor-level fierce beast shouldn't make another move, right? The Blood King was a little afraid. Probably not anytime soon, Yi Tian guessed. After all, the other party's cross-border space was injured, and the blood left behind can prove it. But he wasn't sure. The Blood King, the Green King, Yun Mengli, and the others listened to Yi Tian's words. Not only did they not breathe a sigh of relief, but they trembled. If you won't make a move in a short time, does that mean you will shoot again? That was a blow from an emperor-level beast. How could they stop it? Chapter 166. Lord Yi Tian, you actually dodged the blow of the emperor-level fierce beast just now. Is it the legendary teleportation? The Blood King asked curiously. There are also a few martial artists with spatial talents in the 3 major bases, but most of them have secondary level or primary spatial talents, and they have little effect. The spatial talent that can use teleportation is at least a medium spatial talent, and teleportation is one of the anti-celestial abilities that ignores time and speed. Yes! Yi Tian didn't deny it. He had just cast a teleportation, and as long as everyone wasn't stupid, they would naturally know that it was teleportation. Lord Yi Tian, you can teleport. Even an emperor-level blow can't kill you. The top-level array that suppressed the spatial rift has been shattered. The king beasts can come over again, and we are ready to re-establish it. Even if the emperor-level fierce beasts do not reappear, if there are more king beasts, the pressure on us will be very great. Please also ask Lord Yi Tian to sit here. If there is a powerful king beast coming, please take action to kill it. Yun Mengli pleaded. He was really scared. He was afraid that Yi Tian would leave. If they were dealing with the king beast, and the emperor-level fierce beast came again, they wouldn't have Yi Tian's ability to teleport, and there would be no way to escape. Therefore, this matter still depends on Yi Tian. Of course, they also guessed that the reason for the attack of the emperor-level fierce beast must have something to do with the fierce beast that could be stealthy and disguised, but they naturally wouldn't blame Yi Tian. If Yi Tian hadn't found out the fierce beast, they might be completely finished one day. Therefore, Yi Tian killed the fierce beast to save them, and also saved the 3 major bases. Although it attracted a blow from the Emperor-level beast, the Emperor-level beast couldn't get through, so it's not that there was no way to solve it. Humans and fierce beasts were originally mortal enemies, and they were not stupid, so naturally they would not blame Yitian. Besides, Yitian is a saint level, they are only king level, so where is their right to blame Yitian? Don't worry, I'll be here for a while. Yitian nodded, but at this time, his expression was a little bad, not because he was afraid of that Emperor-level beast, but because he was afraid of delaying time. He can't stay here forever, can he? It shouldn't be. If you attack from the Void Realm, that Emperor-level fierce beast shouldn't be able to perform it a few times, unless it wants to die. It will only take half a month or a month at most, and it will have new actions. Whether it kills me or not, it should be completely over. Yitian guessed. The next attack might have been even more terrifying, but he was fearless. On the other side of the spatial rift, the world of fierce beasts. The Emperor-level fierce beast King Kong's aura was sluggish, and the three-headed Emperor-level fierce beast that had torn the spatial crack was also counterattacked, and the injury was not light. King Kong, I'm injured and devoured. I have to go back to recuperate. King Kong, I have to leave too. No matter what price you offer, we can't make a move, otherwise the backlash will be too great, the foundation will be damaged, and there will be no way to make up for it with any treasure. King Kong, forget it, you're too crazy. The attack from the Void One realm has failed. That human has the ability to teleport, you can't kill him. The three-headed Emperor-level beast spoke and left one by one. Teleport. King Kong gritted his teeth, very angry. It didn't expect that the human had teleportation. If the teleportation of the medium spatial talent should not be avoided, then the spatial talent of the human should be a high spatial talent. It knew very well that in the case of the Void Realm, it would not be able to kill a human saint with a high spatial talent. Underworld, you have also seen it. That human is estimated to have a high spatial talent. I'm afraid I won't be able to kill him. King Kong was helpless to deal with the Void Path. But the revenge of my juniors cannot be avenged. If I ask an Emperor level with top-level spatial talent to make a move, you can kill that human saint level with one more blow. In this way, this matter will be revealed, otherwise I wouldn't have just left it at that. The Void said coldly, an Emperor-level beast with a top-level spatial talent? You mean? King Kong thought of someone, and his face changed drastically. Emperor-level fierce beast sky-devouring beast Emperor Ling. How can you please touch it? King Kong was shocked. Sky-devouring beast Emperor Ling is definitely an extremely terrifying existence among Emperor-level fierce beasts, and the top-level spatial talent is too terrifying. Even if it encounters Emperor Ling, it is estimated that it may not be able to escape. This is still because Emperor Ling has only stepped into the Emperor level not long ago. If Emperor Ling is in the same realm as it, he can kill it with one blow. That's one of the most terrifying Emperor-level beasts in the Ape Dragon beast world. I was lucky enough to know Emperor Ling, and I was able to ask him to do it once. Emperor Ling can help us tear the spatial rift and suppress the space from the air, but it will not attack the human, otherwise the cost will be too great, and it will not be willing to do so. The final blow must be done by you, and if you agree with me, notify it. The Void Path. King Kong thought for a while, and said in a deep voice, I'm willing to make another shot, but at least wait until I rest for a while. Otherwise I can't bear to make 2 consecutive shots in a short time. Okay, then I'll wait. Stygian said. King Kong took out one elixir after another, all of which were very rare elixirs of 10,000 years, but they were of great help to the injury. It devours the elixir one by one, recovering the injuries after the regurgitation. It can be seen with the naked eye that its injuries are slowly recovering, and its breath is getting stronger and stronger, and it is gradually getting rid of its weakness. 25 days passed. Accelerated by 3 times, after 25 days, which is equivalent to 75 days of cultivation, my deep brain domain has finally opened up 4%, and my physical strength has reached the power of 400,000 elephants, and my strength has doubled again. Yi Tian clenched his fists, very satisfied with the current progress. His cultivation is strong, and the ability of his spatial talent is also a lot stronger. If the blow of the Emperor-level fierce beast comes again, he will definitely be able to teleport away more easily. Moreover, he had a hunch that the revenge of the Emperor-level beasts should come soon. Just as the cooldown period for copying talents is over, maybe you can get a good talent from the emperor-level fierce beast. Yi Tian fantasized. The other side. King Kong recovered from his superficial injuries, and the backlash was initially suppressed, and he could barely strike again. Stygian, I can strike again, you can call Di Ling to come over. King Kong said. Good. The void used a unique communication method between the beasts to notify the sky-devouring beast Emperor Ling. In just a few tens of seconds, a fierce beast figure appeared in front of King Kong and the underworld. Sky-devouring beast Emperor Ling is here. I saw that the body of the sky-devouring beast Emperor Ling was 10 meters long, covered in dark gold, and his head was half the size of a body, which was very weird, and there were faint spatial lines on his body, obviously a natural spatial talent beast. Lord Dilling, King Kong said very politely to Di Ling. The strong in the beast world are respected, and Di Ling is much stronger than it, and has the strength to kill it, so it has to be respected. Stygian, what do you call me? Di Ling ignored King Kong and just looked at the underworld. I want to ask you to do it once. The Stygian told the reason, the spatial rift and the killing of its descendants. After listening to this, Di Ling responded, yes, I only promise to use the spatial confinement ability. With my top-level spatial talent attainment, the high-level spatial talent of the human saint level is almost useless, and it will definitely not be able to use the spatial talent. When the time comes, King Kong, you can kill him again. Thank you, Di Ling. Stygian gratitude. Only once. Di Ling said. Chapter 167. The world of human beings. It's a pity that this spatial crack is too low level. I can't really go over, otherwise I really want to enter the world of humans to see. Di Ling looked at the spatial crack and said in a low voice. Then, it struck. A spatial force spread, and the next moment the spatial crack began to crack. Originally, the three major bases had rebuilt a top-level large array and suppressed the spatial crack again, but they didn't expect the spatial crack to be torn apart again, and the top-level large array was completely useless. The Earth's end of a rift in space. Yi Tian sensed the movement of the spatial crack for the first time, and the other king levels also quickly sensed it and hurriedly ran away. They all knew that the Emperor-level fierce beasts were about to launch another attack. If you don't run at this time, wouldn't you be looking for death? The only pity is that the top-level array is going to be scrapped again, and the three major bases have to lose a lot of material costs. However, many kings suddenly found that they couldn't move, and they couldn't even escape. Rumble. A spatial force froze the void, and under this spatial power, the king didn't even have the ability to blink his eyelids, only his mind could still turn. Freeze the void. What kind of ability is this? The kings were terrified. They couldn't imagine what kind of ability this was. And only Yi Tian knew that this was one of the abilities of the top spatial talent, spatial confinement, which could freeze a piece of space. Damn, I can't move. Yi Tian tried his best to use the power of teleportation, but the power of teleportation was blocked by the spatial confinement, and although his whole person could move, the speed was extremely slow. Then, he saw a small claw stretched out from the spatial rift, and it was the owner of that claw who released the spatial confinement ability. Top spatial talent. Yi Tian's heart moved, and he actually flew towards that claw. Originally, he was only 3,000 meters away from the spatial rift, but in the blink of an eye, he approached 2,000 meters. Today, he has a talent for copying and covering a range of 2,000 meters. Then, one of King Kong's hands reached out, and a golden spear reappeared. King Kong is going to make a move. Quick! Yi Tian was anxious. 2,000 meters arrived. In an instant, he checked Di Ling's talent. Species, Sky Eater. Bloodline talent, Radiant Moon level. Space talent, top. This Sky Devourer only has one special talent, the spatial talent, and no other special talents, but its spatial talent is a top-level spatial talent, which is too rebellious. Abilities possessed by top-tier spatial talents include spatial perception, spatial imprint, carry-on space, teleportation, spatial blade, and spatial confinement. In particular, the three major abilities of teleportation, spatial blade, and spatial imprisonment are enough to make the Sky Eater not have any major defects. As long as the spatial ability is not restricted, it is almost invincible. Copy. In a flash, the sky-devouring beast's top-level spatial talent was copied by Yi Tian. And the attack of King Kong also came at this time. Human Holy Grade, die. The golden spear attacked, and the space confinement of the Sky Devourer did not deliberately suppress the golden spear, so the speed of the golden spear was not greatly affected. In this case, Yi Tian couldn't dodge the golden spear at all. Even if he used his time ability, he couldn't dodge it. His speed was fast enough to a certain level, and it was almost useless to just have a primary time talent. But Yi Tian still has a whole card. Substitute Death Talent. Yi Tian activated the talent of substitution for death. This talent is not a space talent. Space imprisonment cannot block this talent, and the death talent can be activated regardless of space-time, so the space talent cannot stop the death talent. The only thing that can break the substitution talent is a soul attack, and once Yi Tian's soul is annihilated in time, the substitution talent cannot be activated. But neither Di Ling nor King Kong had that kind of rare soul talent, so they couldn't kill Yi Tian. In an instant, the substitute death talent was successfully activated. In another place, the substitute death clone that was hidden by Yi Tian in advance was replaced by Yi Tian in an instant, but this replacement was only a body replacement, and the clothes, storage bags, etc. were still not replaced. But Yi Tian's treasures are almost placed in the carry-on space. After all, the carry-on space is now very large, enough to put all the treasures, and there are only some ordinary treasures and resources in the storage bag, which are not worth much. Poof! The golden spear pierced through Yi Tian, and a terrifying force completely shattered Yi Tian's body, and Yi Tian's body floated in the air and gradually crumbled. And at this time, one by one, the king beasts rushed over from the spatial crack. They were all King Kong's subordinates, and under the arrangement of King Kong, they came to the corpse of Yi Tian, one after another, snatched all of Yi Tian's several storage bags, and then sent them back to the beast world. Suddenly, the spatial confinement disappeared, and the emperor-level beast left. One by one, the beasts rushed over, as if they were about to invade again. Lord Yi Tian has fallen? Yun Mengli trembled. That's a saint level, and it's an incomparably powerful saint level, with extremely high talent, a saint level that can be achieved in a short period of time. Quickly beat the fierce beasts back. It is impossible for the emperor-level fierce beasts to strike again. We can't let Lord Yi Tian sacrifice in vain. The Blood King hurriedly said. Only then did the other kings react. If the spatial crack was missed, the three major bases would be in danger. Kill! 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 The kings rushed over one after another and blasted a famous king beast to death. Fortunately, the spatial crack was unstable, and there were not many fierce beasts coming over, so they were killed by the king level in time, and the king level quickly summoned the array mages to step up the arrangement of the top level array. Ape Dragon Beast World. Master Kong, here. A king beast handed several storage bags to the weakened King Kong. King Kong held the storage bag, only to find that the storage bag could not be refined. Strange, that human is dead, I'm sure, how can there be no way to refine it? King Kong didn't know much about the human world, and he didn't know much about storage bags, so he was just strange and didn't have doubts. So, it urged the power of the emperor-level fierce beast to forcibly break the soul mark of the storage bag, and then the storage bag was opened. How can it be? That's just such a little thing at the human holy level, and what about my water dragon ball? King Kong was dumbfounded. This human saint level is too poor. No, that human has a talent for space, there must be a portable space. King Kong reacted, but it was too late. The portable space was a little special. Once the human died, the portable space would also collapse, and there was no way to save it. Because the maintenance of the portable space depends on the spatial talent. As soon as the human saint level dies, the spatial talent disappears, and the portable space is naturally annihilated. So, it is very likely that its water dragon ball has entered the spatial turbulence with the collapse of space, and it is difficult to find. Damn humans, when I step into the human world one day, I will definitely kill them. King Kong roared wildly, and his voice was terrifying. However, neither King Kong, Underworld, nor Di Ling thought that Yi Tian was not dead, and what King Kong killed was just a substitute for death. Near the Demon Sea Base. In a cave deep in the mountains, Yi Tian sat up from a stone slab. He examined his body and found that it was intact. It worked. It looks like everyone thinks I'm dead, right? Yi Tian suddenly thought, but then, he fell into the joy of a great harvest. He's got a top-notch space talent. Chapter 168. Yi Tian had tried to find the existence of top-level spatial talents many times, but he didn't have the slightest clue. Even the high-level spatial talents were copied by luck in the fierce beast world. But he didn't expect that he would copy the top-level spatial talent again today. Although he paid the price of using the death talent once, he felt that it was very worthwhile. After all, the substitute death talent can't really improve his strength, but the top-level spatial talent can greatly improve his strength. For example, the distance of teleportation and the power of the space blade will be greatly increased many times. Fusion. Yi Tian began to fuse in this small cave. Soon, top spatial talent fusion successful. Yi Tian, who was a little tired, activated the top-level spatial talent, and suddenly a wave of fluctuations dispersed, covering the space within a radius of thousands of miles, completely freezing this space. Space is always flowing, just like air. Imprisoning space is to stop the flow of space. Weak people can't even move in the frozen space. Even strong people will drop their speed. Yi Tian's mind became clear. Moreover, the spatial confinement and the spatial blade can be used together, freezing the void first, and then using the spatial blade to smash the enemy's body, killing the enemy in one fell swoop. The reason why that Sky Devourer didn't use the space blade to kill me is probably because it takes a lot of money to use the space blade to kill me in the air, and that Sky Devourer beast obviously asked for help, so naturally it didn't want to pay the price, so it didn't attack me, it just played a supporting role. Yi Tian guessed. At this point, he was thinking, if that Sky Devourer used the spatial blade by the way when he was casting spatial confinement, even if he cast the substitute death talent in time, it would definitely not be too late to replicate its top-level spatial talent. So, it's all a matter of luck. Yi Tian, who had a top-level spatial talent, had risen so strongly. According to his speculation, there were few saint-level people who could compete with him, even if they were some emperor level. If they were hit head-on by him with a spatial blade, it was estimated that they might not be able to survive. The power of the space blade is not in the attack power, but in the damage of the space, and there is no way for the emperor level to resist Yi Tian's space blade, unless it is beyond the strength of the emperor level to be able to ignore the space blade. Of course, the emperor level couldn't compete against the space blade, but it could dodge, and Yi Tian's space blade was still not fast enough to hit the powerful emperor level head-on. After resting for half a day, Yi Tian went to the spatial crack invisibly. Soon, he arrived there and saw that the formation mages were arranging the formation, and there were a number of fierce beast corpses on the ground, which showed that after he left, there was a battle here. The kings were standing far away at this time, and they didn't dare to approach the spatial rift at all. Yi Tian did not show up, for fear that the news that he was not dead would be known by the fierce beasts. He came to Yun Mengli's side, and his divine sense transmitted, Yun Mengli. At first glance, when he heard Yi Tian's voice, Yun Mengli was shocked. This voice is too familiar, it is Yi Tian's voice. Lord Yi Tian, is that you? Yun Mengli said in a low voice. But he obviously saw that Yi Tian was pierced by a golden spear, and his body fell to the ground, and Yi Tian's body was also collected. They have already determined that Yi Tian is dead. Yes, I'm not dead. The body pierced by the golden spear is a fake corpse I made. The real me used a secret technique to hide. Those emperor-level beasts can't come over in another world, so I was negligent for a while, thinking I was dead. The news that I'm still alive, don't leak it out, at most, let the Blood King and the Green King know. Originally, I was going to hide it from you, but you will still go to the Zhonghai superbase. In that case, sooner or later you will know that I am still alive, so I will simply tell you. Yi Tian said, Lord Yi Tian, it's great that you're not dead. Yun Mengli breathed a sigh of relief. If Yi Tian died, it would be of no benefit to the Demon Sea Base, and the living Yi Tian was simply the patron saint of the Demon Sea Base. If there was a crisis here in the future, he could completely ask Yi Tian for help. I'm back to the Zhonghai superbase. Yi Tian said goodbye. After Yi Tian left, Yun Mengli informed the Blue King and the Blood King of the news. At first, the two didn't believe it at all, but when they carefully examined Yi Tian's body, they immediately believed Yi Tian's words. No matter how perfect the dead doppelganger is, a closer inspection will also find that this corpse is not a real human corpse at all. Not to mention that the corpse has long been dead, Its blood is completely the ingredients of the fierce beast and the breath of some special materials, and the whole body has traces of refining, which is obviously a refined corpse. This matter was only circulated among Yun Mengli, the Blood King, and the Blue King, and the other kings didn't know that Yi Tian was still alive at all. Zhonghai Superbase, Yi Tian is back. After coming back, Yi Tian took his sister to visit the Zhonghai Superbase for a few days, which allowed his sister to cultivate with peace of mind and came to the God of War Tower. This time, he had several purposes. The first is to comprehend the formation pattern and raise the level of the formation mage, so that a top-level cultivation room can be built, and the cultivation speed of the younger sister will increase significantly. The second purpose is to comprehend the sword intent, and now that his sword talent has been upgraded to the Morning Star, with the assistance of the God of War tablet, he can definitely comprehend the sword intent to the consummation level, so that he can cultivate the gold-level sword skill to the consummation level. The third purpose is to break into the God of War Tower. He is at the Saint level, and he has fallen out of the King list, but he can enter the Holy list. In addition, with his current strength, going to the 8th and 9th layers of the God of War Tower will definitely not cause anyone to be shocked, and he can get points by breaking into the God of War Tower, so why not? God of War Monument Space. Yi Tian began to comprehend the formation pattern, and turned on the threefold time acceleration. After 3 days, Yi Tianxian realized the 200th formation pattern and officially stepped into the level of a top formation mage. Then it took another 2 days to comprehend 20 formations again, reaching the level of 120 formation patterns. A top-level formation mage who can comprehend and inscribe 120 formation patterns can be regarded as a not weak level among the top formation mages, which is enough to build a top-level cultivation room. At this point, Yi Tian stopped contemplating the formation pattern and began to comprehend the sword intent. The sword talent of the Morning Star made Yi Tian, with the assistance of the God of War monument, the speed of comprehension more than 10 times that of before, and countless sword perceptions came to his heart, and he was making rapid progress every moment. 5 days later, Yi Tian's sword intent stepped into the realm of 90% sword intent. 15 days later, Yi Tian's sword intent stepped into the realm of 100% sword intent. There are only 85 points left. It's time to go to the God of War Tower again. Yi Tian got up and left the space of the God of War monument. Then, Yi Tian entered the 8th layer of the God of War Tower's challenge space. With Yi Tian's strength, he easily killed the black-clothed martial artist in seconds, but the points he got made him very helpless. 10 points. Yi Tian asked helplessly, "Machine Spirit, I have 32 points for breaking through the 7th layer before. Why only have 10 points for breaking through the 8th layer now?" The Machine Spirit replied truthfully, "Yi Tian, when you broke through the 7th layer, you were at the King level, and now you are at the Saint level. It is very easy to break through the 8th layer, naturally it is impossible to give the level 64 points. The points rules that were told to you at that time are suitable for the King level, and now that you have stepped into the Saint level, I will tell you the new points rules. Beat the 8th floor for 10 points, the 9th tier for 20 points, the 10th tier for 40 points, the 11th tier for 80 points, and the 12th tier for 160 points. And so on. How many points you can earn depends on your strength." Black-hearted Machine Spirit, Yi Tian scolded secretly in his heart, but he also knew that this rule was more reasonable. If it was the same as the King level and the Saint level, it would be unreasonable.